の少しだけ尻の線が浮かび上がっている。ぜひ見たいとそう思わせる尻だ。そう思えばなんとこのローブは脱がすことができる。ローブを全部 FBI open up!
What's good, anime enthusiasts? Welcome back to another episode review for Mushoku Tensei. Now, if you can tell already, I am unfortunately a little bit under the weather. I am sick, as what you can also probably tell if you watched the Liar Game episode that I also put out. I'm still under the weather at this time of recording, but it's a good thing JD's not sick, right?
Yes, sir. We are live and healthier than ever.
Yeah, definitely healthier than me. But we're fine. We're here. We're grinding, and we're coming at you guys with another suite of episodes. Before we get into it, honestly, I have to commend all of you for running up the previous episode review for episodes 14 all the way up to 17. All of you really knocking it out of the park with, at the time I'm looking at this, more than 1,500 views on the episode and a bunch of people commenting. I'm like, okay, all right. Thank you all. Thank you. Now, I'm honestly, me being cynical, thinking that, season 3 is on the way. This is like one of the most pivotal moments of the entire first season, at least what I've seen so far. And you guys coming on, it's like, you know what? That's fine about that. But either way, I still appreciate all of you for taking the time out to even look at it, listen to it, or however you consume the content. So thank you. Jane, Dave, you don't want to thank them? Jeez.
No, they're awesome ones. I see you, that guy that said, "Oh, I didn't know anybody like Soros." Man, I know he was a bad person, but he's my girl. Low key.
Well, hold on, JD. Let's address it. ZBeater4656, he did say, and I'll put his comment on there, I didn't know there was anyone who liked Soros. I mean, really, he was an abusive father, requested people to steal women and children and bought them. I was kind of relieved he got blamed and executed. So, JD, you want to defend Soros the best you can?
Your Honor, the defense is, there is no defense. He did all that shit. He's still the GOAT.
I mean, what drew you to Soros? I mean, Soros to me was like a character that had that boastfulness to him, that pride to him and everything. And he was there. I mean, unfortunately, he was part of the Grey Rat family, so already he had a little bit of infamy with sexual stuff along there. But once we realized that, he did buy beast folk to be part of his servitude, servants, maids, mostly women, possibly children. I mean, we don't know to the extent of if he only bought women, if he did buy children at the same time, and he did have sex with them. So there's no telling if he had more within an estate. We didn't see any much more as part of the anime is concerned. And now in the light novel, we don't know if it expanded upon it more and just had like a dungeon worth of them. We don't know, but that is what it is.
That's definitely true. Like the very depth of like his crimes aren't really explored in the anime as much as maybe we might be seeing. The thing that draws me to Soros just from the start was his extreme presence, right? You understand that he's a lord right from the top. He does have extreme flaws, right? And he does nothing to hide them. He just leaves he leaves a strong impression on you, right? Just in his interactions with Eris and his son. And his presence alone characterizes the rest of the family more, right? Through osmosis, every character in that family is understood a little bit more. So that's why I love Soros.
Yeah, it's no surprise that Lord Philip would like beast folk because he's like around them so much thanks to Soros. It's no surprise that Eris also likes beast folk and how she was able to connect with them more when they were in the beast folk force thanks to Soros. Also at the same time, it's no surprise that Eris is a lot more aggressive and outspoken thanks to her father being that more aggressive and outspoken as well. It's only the fact that even though Philip isn't that outwardly aggressive. He's more passive aggressive. He's the guy that has, Soros's presence, but he doesn't have to say anything to get what he's done. That's why Rudeus was a lot more afraid of him when he talked about Eris, and Lord Phil was like, and Rudeus was like, no, she's good. She's great.
No, exactly.
Other than that, he also did, Z-Beater also made a good comment on Paul being good in all three styles and being much stronger than Gallus. That I can understand. I was trying to put Gallus on the pedestal, being like, yeah, he's one rank higher than one style. So possibly he could beat Paul in one style, but since Paul is like proficient in two other styles, he does have an upper hand. And he also says that Rudeus heavily underestimates himself, how good he is at magic. Every person that he's been around have been like the top 40 strongest people in the world. Hashtag Rudeus never dies. We'll see about that. That I can also understand.
Oh, no. Oh, I feel like I'm being set up. I'm so scared for my boy Richard.
Nah, I get that. Rudeus is constantly around stronger people. That just could also be, story writing, anime things. He's with Richard, he's with Ghislaine, he's with Paul, and not Eris, Roxy, and there isn't anyone else that's Gallus. Gallus is also strong as well. Yeah, he's been fighting against like very strong people. The main guy from the Beast Folk Forest, he was pretty strong, the one that knocked him out with his roar. So yeah, he's been around strong people, and unfortunately the ones that he's like truly like defeated or without the help of anyone else is pretty much a chaff, the mooks.
It's one of those things, man. I don't actually mind Rudeus underestimating himself in that way and like not fighting the strongest people and winning against the strongest people in the verse. I feel like that adds a level of realism to it, right? Just as the main character is in Rudeus, Rudeus's body reacting to the world, I feel like Rudeus like learning to adapt and like overcome challenges in his own like way is what makes this anime super interesting.
Yeah.
Equally important. I didn't realize that 3 sword god styles were like in a almost elemental triangle with the fire, water, grass, with like the sword, and then the north, and then water style. I want to thank Dovahkiin0929 for explaining that to me. That was a big shout. Appreciate you.
Yeah, gives context of why they only did the big 1/clash. That is Ghislaine's area expertise. She is a sword king, so she does know how to do the 1/, as we saw in that one episode, which, oh my god, if Eris learns how to do that, everybody's done. Pack it up, it's time to go home. Yeah, and of course the others, Chipotle is life. I see you. I know about Chipotle. I tell you that right now. And Azumag talking about Rudeus's people change line in episode 15, how it fits so well within the story. I get you. I understand. And we'll get to episode 23. We'll get there. Maybe not this next upcoming set of episodes, but the episodes after, we'll definitely get there. I should also point out before we actually get into the episode review for 18, 19, 20. Season 3 is coming out in July, I want to say. Oh, no, at the end of June, I think. Or towards the end of June, at the early July. I get my dates mixed up. Unfortunately, we'll still be within season 2 at the time because we're continuing on. Please be patient. We're not going to speed through things. We're just going to take our usual time doing 2 to 4 episodes at a time, depending on some of these episodes rage bait us into watching more. We'll see how that goes. But after that, once we hit season 3, then everyone will be on the same page, roughly, so to speak. So look out, stay tuned. We'll be there when we get there. Y'all good? Good. All right, JG, you ready to get into this?
Yeah, man. Another W set of episodes.
Indeed, starting off with episode 18, Separate Journeys. This one is mostly about Roxy, but in the beginning we get a little bit of stuff with our main party, being that they start traveling towards the central continent, and while they're on the road traveling, there's this dude that comes looking for a challenge to Rudeus because he looks like a man of renown. He gets beaten, and he's then giving a Rudeus statue, and he knows that now that Rudeus is super red. He's like, "Thank you, warrior super red." And then comically, more and more people show up, and they get bodied by Rudeus. So now Rudeus is becoming a like a very good duelist / warrior. We'll see if that comes into play later. Hopefully, like somebody rolls up and goes Rudeus, and as a samurai with a long sword, it's like, "I challenge you to a fight to the death," and that's how Rudeus dies. Anyway, moving on from there. I'm really trying to set it up.
I'll get flashbanged every time.
But we get a scene transition of the party taking a boat to the central continent. They talk shop for a lot of what's to come. Nothing really major going on there. But we finally cut to Roxy in the demon continent. And Roxy's meeting up with her old party. Mainly only the horse guy who we know as Nekopara. And she learns of Blaze's demise. And both of them talk shop. Roxy's maturing and changing over the course of the years, as Nekopara sees from this little meeting. And Nekopara's been on his base behavior ever since Dead End came by. And then Roxy gets a little bit of PTSD, or she gets triggered when she hears it. She gets a bad reaction. Later on, we found out that Roxy hasn't been to her hometown, and even Nekopara's been shocked by it. And Roxy doesn't want to go back, and Nekopara is just trying to really enlighten Roxy with some wisdom or knowledge that, yeah, you should go by your village. Just go to them. Family's family. Everything on that. Key note is to know that Nekopara says, "Who cares if you can't use telepathy?" I didn't clock this, and we'll find out later. Because when Roxy does visit her hometown, she says it's eerily quiet, as it used to be. Then, all throughout the village and through these couple of scenes, you'll see a white flash and you hear the sounds of rocks clacking as the villagers kind of look at each other or look at Roxy with these like blank stares and like surprised faces. And Roxy says that she's living in the village with a sense of an alienation. She hates the village. And even at a point where she like heals a kid who injured themselves because they were playing around, that white flash and those sounds plays again, those effects happen. But she manages to run away and she meets her parents. Her parents are happy to see her again. And as they talk, once again, you hear those effects. Roxy plans on leaving soon, immediately even like meeting her parents and seeing the village. And her mother eventually starts breaking down and starts crying. And then Roxy notices like toys and things she left behind that are still there. And then Roxy has a flashback as a child, and her in her childhood days that she's happy. But again, the white flash and the clacking of rocks it notices. And we realize and notice Roxy's ailment. As Nekopara says, she cannot communicate with telepathy with her kind. We don't know how, we don't know why. Probably a birth defect that Roxy has. And Roxy as a child just cries and realizes that, I'm sorry, not that point. It's at the point that Roxy cries as a child, noticing that, she's different from other kids and from her kind. She can't do what everyone else can. But back in the present time, upon getting that flashback, Roxy cries as well in her mother's arms, and she realizes that, words don't really matter as long as you got family. So the next morning, Roxy wakes up, staying with her parents. There's an interesting scene where she looks up and she sees like a cage in the rafters. But the next time she does it, the cage isn't there. It's more of like open space. But still, Roxy's been waking up. She eats breakfast. She eventually learns that Rudeus and the party walk through along with Rudeus the soup bread. And afterwards, she meets back up with the elf and the dwarf, and they're off to look for other people in the demon continent. Now, and the episode ends after that. Now, JD, I want to ask you, what do you think about that scene where Roxy's looking up at the cage, and then later on she sees the cage is open. To me, the basic surface level that I'm getting is that Roxy at first saw herself in that cage. She feels imprisoned in the village that she sees because of what she couldn't do. But the next time when she, takes in her surroundings and looks at her parents and realizes the much love and care that they gave to her, even though that she didn't have that telepathy, when she looks up at that cage again, the cage is open. She's actually free of her strife or ailment. Even though she can't use telepathy, there are still ways to communicate with other people. I don't know if that's the idea, or I don't know if there's something else deeper within that imagery.
No, Sworn, you're fucking cooking. That's exactly it, right? So Roxy has been carrying this sort of alienation purely within her own heart, right? For as long as she's lived. And that's why she purposely went out of her way to avoid coming back to the village, right? And seeing that she's still accepted by her parents sort of opens her up to that, right? This place is no longer a place where she's alone and alienated. This is a place where she can exist properly, right? And full disclosure, when you posted the 2 images in the chat before we started, I had to go back because I didn't notice something like that. That was an incredible touch by the animators. That's so good.
No, I get you. I mean, of course, that would be the one thing I noticed. But me, full disclosure, when I watched the episode, I was so confused as to why the screen was flashing white and then Roxy would hear these click-clacking rocks, and me trying to figure out what is wrong with Roxy. What is going on? Can she not understand her own kind? No, like she can, because her parents are speaking the demon language that Roxy knows, and Roxy, gave Rudeus the master encyclopedia for the language, so like she can understand like what's going on. Because I didn't read the line that Necropara said, "Who cares if you can't use telepathy?" I didn't get that. I only understood finally when it was told through the flashback that Roxy couldn't use telepathy. I was like, oh, and everything made sense. So I can see the imagery and stuff, but I can't read a sentence to save my life.
No, this was... How did you feel about like camera flashes being the imagery for that telepathic communication?
It's very interesting because when we think telepathy, of course, none of us, no human ever knows like how to, mind talk to other people through psychic abilities. And I think it's an interesting way to communicate how it feels to not be able to communicate with other people, or to feel like somebody's trying to enter your mind. It's like a white flash, someone's like attempting to connect, and I guess the rocks clacking is the attempted talk to connection. You can't understand what it's saying. It's just like clatter. Honestly, it'd be very annoying to me.
No, definitely, right? I feel like when I first saw it, the first flash from the 2 women who were like just hanging out or whatever when talking to Roxy, I immediately had flashbacks to when Rudeus was like really, really small and first saw those 2 kids standing outside. I think the animators are drawing like not super direct, but very, very direct parallels between the 2 and how they sort of abandoned their home. MC as himself and Roxy as herself, right? I didn't even think about just the spectacle that would come when feeling like you can't talk with somebody. Like, that you're the other, right? And everybody else can sort of understand at that moment that you are not like them, right? In the same way that a bully victim like MC was, right? Which is to say, is Roxy endgame? Like, it's getting so close, yeah.
Quite possible, because I predicted before, and when Roxy gave the elf girl her little scenario that she's in a dungeon, somebody's gonna come save her, that whole little deal, and how that will be Rudeus. I don't know if that's gonna be the one case true, but we'll see if we get there. Foreshadowing.
No, definitely. I gotta pay way more attention to some of these like imagery and like themes and stuff because they're gonna slap me in the face pretty soon.
Speaking of slapping you in the face, man, God, how you doing, bud? It's been a while since we've seen you.
Yeah, bro, we can wait a little bit longer, bro. Why is he on my screen?
Episode 19, Root Selection. The episode begins. MC's talking with Man God, and they're talking shop about what MC has done previously as Rudeus, the fight with Paul and all sorts of other things. And then Man God's like, yo, can you really blame me for all these events that happen? And the MC just has to be like, you know what, Man God? Thank you. Thank you for giving me these hints. Thank you for getting me to where I am. Give me the next hint. I want the next hint. But Man God is like, I want you to promise me something. If this next hint reunites you with your family, the next time I give you a hint after that, I want you to fully trust me. And the MC was like, you know what? I'll consider it, depending on what comes next. And so, with that, the Man God accepts. And the hint is as follows. The MC sees a scene with one of his sisters. Actually, his older sister, Aisha Greyrat. But he cannot, he sees a scene with her being like manhandled by these two soldiers. Next, he cannot give his real name. He must then use an alias to get her to explain the situation. After that, send a letter to someone he knows in the royal palace of Shirode. And if he does, Aisha and Lilia will be safe. Very vague in that, but you know, it's up to Rudeus and the MC to see how he can get through there. And the intro plays with the group actually arriving now in the central continent, and it's a very nice place. It has Japanese aesthetic, especially within the nature and the food and the rice fields. And so along the while in the travels, Rudeus explains to the group to say, hey, I've come into some information about my family here in the Shurine Kingdom, and I'm gonna need you two to help me find them. And so they say, cool. They don't ask him where he got the information, which is good, so they just accept. So Rudeus does one of the parts of the hint. He writes a letter to Roxy in the royal palace, and he begins walking down the street. As he's thinking in mind about these things, he's being followed by somebody. He starts to lead them down some back streets and through some alleyways, and then, as we see in it, two other people starts to follow. Rudeus breaks line of sight, and he puts up a earth wall. And then he notices, oh, wait a minute, this place is very familiar to the vision that he was showed. He breaks down the wall, and there he does. There he sees Aisha being handled by two guards. These guys are soldiers from the palace, and they're trying to bring Aisha home because she got lost. Aisha screams like, yo, they took my letter. And the Rudeus questions, so why are you taking a letter from a lost girl? Aisha breaks free, grabs the letter, and she asks Rudeus for help. When Rudeus casts his Earth-style Dark Swamp, the soldiers notice, wait, that's incantationless, and they blow a whistle to call more soldiers. Rudeus and Aisha eventually escape, and back at the inn, Aisha fully introduces herself, and Rudeus gives a fake name, calls himself the Shadow Moon Knight. Through some more dialogue and talks, Aisha has a request. Her mother's in prison, and she wants to send her father a letter, and through some more talks, she can't count her older brother, which is Rudeus, because of the box he treasured. The box with Roxy's panties that she noticed one day. So they talk some more, and Rudeus is like, all right, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to get your mother out of the palace. That night, Rudeus tells Eris and Richard not to call him by his real name to keep up the act, so that Aisha doesn't get suspicious on account of a mistaken impression. Sure. The next day, someone's at the door of their room. It's a woman named Ginger York, a woman of the royal guard, and she addresses Rudeus as Lord Rudeus. She wants Rudeus to come along with her as Lady Roxy has summoned her. So he grabs his stuff and he heads out, telling others to look after Aisha. So as he's being escorted, he gets praised for being a great mage and doing incantationless magic. But he doesn't go to the front door. Instead, he's being led on a side path to a side entrance. things start to get a little bit weird because he sees the same 2 soldiers from yesterday and his stuff is being confiscated. And even Ginger was about to say something, but she stopped herself. And as Rudeus enters the room, he meets the prince. He also sees Lilia tied up next to him. Things are getting really weird. A trap is sprung and Rudeus falls into a cell with a magic circle that nullifies his magic. And the prince looks overhead at the hole and he starts boasting everything. And he starts unveiling his master plan. I'm gonna use you, Rudeus, as bait to lure Roxy back to this palace. I'm gonna make her my sex slave. And I'm gonna do so many unspeakable acts to her. And it's so strange because Rudeus starts poking holes into the prince's plan on how is Roxy supposed to know that I'm here and any of this is happening. And through some more comical stuff, the episode ends. JD, what you clock this prince as? What do you like the prince? Do you like this little gremlin?
Bro, nobody likes this little gremlin, bro. Get him off my screen. He's been wilding since like, what, episode 4 or something like that?
Yeah, with the letters and stuff. I thought he was like a stupid character, like a comical character. But the way they try to paint him as like a villain is so comically bad, right? Like, yeah, Rudeus, I got you in this trap. I'm gonna use this to lure Roxy back. Okay, first of all, how is Roxy supposed to know that I'm here when I can't send a letter out to tell her to save me? And how do you even know where Roxy is in the first place in order to drag her back? Like, there's so many bad things going on. And then you have him trying to be like the big bad guy in this supposed mini arc of saying, I'm going to make Roxy my sex slave. I'm going to make her bear 5 children. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And the juxtaposition of that to him being so incompetent clashes so poorly that I believe they're trying to be very satirical in it. But I don't know if that works.
No, this whole sequence is definitely like supposed to be played up as like a massive joke. Like the second Rudeus left this room and it was just like, man, I'm gonna go see Roxy. I don't need no help. Bye, guys, right? And then from the moment he like gave up the stab, realized that they weren't going through the main entrance of the palace, going to the side section, just everything on it. You knew it was supposed to be like sort of on the nose, right? And I think the prince being super on the nose is also quote unquote funny, right? I laugh at it just because it's like ridiculous and absurd, right?
I don't know, man. I just sat there in disbelief that everything was going on. I was like, I don't know if I believe I'm supposed to laugh at this, but I can't because I don't find it that funny. It's jarring. That's the best way I can put it. It's jarring. I get the way they were trying to do it. It just didn't hit me that well.
No, I completely get it. I did have a question for you. Wait, no, sorry. I just rewatched the end of the episode where Rudeus was like, wait, Roxy isn't here. Did this kid just trick me? And I'm over here like, brother, be so for real. You just talked to Aisha. She said there was nobody there. I love Rudeus. Sometimes he's dumb, right? And I know the writers are doing him dirty specifically for this purpose, right? But I love it. I love it.
Yeah, what's the question?
Oh, shit. Okay. First things first. Man God is just messing with Rudeus at this point, right?
No, he can't be. There has to be something. Man God is doing the right thing in giving Rudeus these hints, but it feels like Man God is like leading both Rudeus and MC into a sense of, yeah, I've been giving you all these hints and they have been helping you out. And now at this point, you can tell that MC has like broke her down. It's like, yeah, everything you've done has been helpful. Thank you. At that point, Man God now can be like, okay, cool. So after this next hint I'm going to give you, the next one I'll give you, you have to fully 100% trust me. So whatever happens next will be Man God's like master plan. or what he has for Rudeus in the MC. Whatever it is, I don't know. It's just the fact that Man God now has him for whatever scheme that he's planning.
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel. I feel like this is partially a ploy. The hint that he gives doesn't necessarily help Rudeus achieve anything, right? Like him being like, "Hey, don't tell your little sister that you're actually Rudeus," right? Because that'll make things too convenient, right? That didn't do anything for him but get him in jail, right? I think the more important part to take from what he saw in the vision was that Aisha and Lilia were both in the palace, right? So like the command for Rudeus to send a letter up to the palace just got him put in jail, right? And it was like an unforced error. Man God was like, "Hey, trust me on this next one, you know I'm the GOAT," right? And then got him in jail. It's just comedy. He's not serious, you know what I mean?
So the unfortunate thing is that when Rudeus does what Man God says, it's actually leading him up to the point. It's just the fact that, Man God probably already knew how things were going to play out, but he's just like giving Rudeus like a weight of, okay, this is what you need to do. Do it as you would, think it. Because what does Rudeus sending a letter to the royal palace do? Well, it clocks the prince of knowing that, hey, one of Roxy's so-called best student is here in the kingdom. Yo, Ginger, go get the kid and bring him here. Because when we see the prince has a letter in his hand. That has to be Rudeus' letter that he sent to Roxy. So that everything confirmed there. Hey, MC Rudeus, don't use your real name when you're talking to Aisha. Why doesn't he use his real name? Well, Aisha doesn't have a very good opinion of her big brother because that at a young age, he idolized Roxy's panties. Therefore, how can she trust or go with somebody who's been a pervert at the age of 4? So that makes sense. So all the things that Man God have been like hinting him to do, it's actually, I don't want to say circumnavigating things, but it's making it easier for him to get into these situations despite of what may or may not happen afterwards. What if Aisha actually knew that Rudeus was Rudeus himself? Would she be more open to him, or would she be more, oh, you're actually my big brother, ew, I can't trust you, with things of that nature? What if he didn't send a letter to the palace? How would he know that Lilia or Aisha would be there in the first place after all? Well, how would you know that even Aisha would be in those back alleys in the first place? Yeah, there's so many things that Man God has told Rudeus to do. Is the fact that would those things have happened had Rudeus not done them?
Damn.
I know, man.
You're kind of cooking. I concede this point, but Man God, bro, if you put my boy in jail for another time. Like, I felt so bad for Rudeus here. I was just like, this guy is being played so hard. I can only imagine what Man God has next, right? Whatever the next thing is going to be horrendous. I can feel it.
All right, next topic of mention. Aisha or Norn, who's better?
Who's better? That's... they're both... No preference. I think they're both just kids, you know what I mean? I will say, Aisha is way smarter.
What? You don't bully my dad?
Bruh, if my little daughter isn't defending me like that, I'm throwing hands with the world. I can't blame Norn for that, bro. Sins of the father, bro. You gotta leave the son and the daughter alone.
Isn't it also crazy that both Norn and Aisha don't like their older brother because of who he is?
That's what you... No, it's not.
Norn doesn't like Rudeus because of the fact that he fought with her dad and she had to defend him, and now she just has like a negative opinion, even though Rude may or may not calm her down. And then Aisha doesn't like Rudeus because of the fact that he idolized panties at a young age. So he has nothing good going for him.
Poor guy. I remember when they were first conceived, he was like, I want to be a responsible, cool older brother. And he's already sort of lost the plot on that.
Oh God, he did. He has not done any of that. Jeez.
I mean, I can't. How are you gonna like? How are you gonna know your big brother's a pervert, bruh? She went out of her way to like investigate. Man,
Shoot, I'd be curious too. If my mom was keeping hold of a small chest that was supposed to be dedicated to my older brother, I would want to know what's in there. Shoot.
Lilia, why didn't you just put it on the high shelf?
God. Okay, I have to ask. Before we get to the next one. The Woman of the World Guard, the name Ginger York. Did you just not ball out laughing at this ridiculous name?
And that one was kind of like, so my exposure to like Western names in Japanese media is sort of like that. Like, I don't know if you remember Sword Art Online, there were a lot of names explicitly like that, right? Just like a random item and then like half of a city name.
There is no way
it was expected.
There's no way someone in the universe is going like, "Hello, Miss York." What?
You're right. They would never say Miss York. They would say Captain York.
No, I would not take anyone serious with the last name York, let alone first name Ginger. I feel like, my name is Ginger York. Excuse me? You're who? Let me grate you over some Chinese food.
Yes, sir.
Ginger York meant patty. Okay, let me stop.
Oh my god, bro. Before we hit the next episode, I did want to bring this up. So I think it was this episode specifically that made me sort of awaken to the idea of Geese. Geese is most definitely a chosen of some sort of god, because the way that Man God plays with Rudeus made me think back to all of his actions. Geese, how do you get put into beast prison for cheating on somebody? That's not like a real crime. And why do you automatically tell Rudeus to go off and to like go to an adventuring guild without any sort of reason, right? And even a little bit before that, how do you escape the jail cell from the beast people, right? Specifically to go on a ride with Rudeus. You're moving kind of weird, bruh.
Right, yeah, we did have this conversation off screen review. Yeah, I said to myself, I'm inclined to agree, but then I did also say that no, I didn't say that. No, yeah. I did say I'm tempted to agree that he's got some kind of important role. But I think in my mind, I also had to think, oh wait, no. I already said that before in the previous episode that Geese would be like a physical manifestation of Man God. So I don't know, at least from that point, if Geese is actually following Man God. It's a good theory, and I got nothing to counter that, man. You got it on that. You got it on that.
Can't wait to be proven right in about 6 months when we hit season 3.
Yo, if you're proven right, let it be as is. Because also, Geese is from the Demon Continent, and I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh wait, here's my other thing that I thought. It was a random thought. I hope it's not true. But remember when Kish Kish said that she has a husband in this incarnation of herself? What if it's Geese?
You know, honestly, he's one of the few male characters that we know.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, Geese from the Demon Continent. He's been doing some strange things. He's powerful enough to get out of the cage on his own. Kish Kish has a husband in this incarnation of himself. It could be Geese. I don't know. Hands up. If it is, cool. If it's not, I mean, we try, we shoot our shot.
Yes, sir, indeed.
All right. But speaking of getting out of prison, can Rudeus get out of the situation that she is in episode 20? The birth of my little sister, the maid. Little ticked off about this episode title because sure, I guess that is the name of the title. I don't know, but I mean, not much of Aisha is really done in this except towards the end of it. But it is what it is. I'm not the maker of these episode titles. So the episode begins with showing how Lily and Aisha and what they did when they got teleported and where they ended up. basically at the bottom of a river or ocean, not ocean, a lake, and Lilia getting themselves out, and both of them managing to get into the Shurine Kingdom, but they get thrown in prison due to them knowing Roxy. Thank you, Prince. And so now we get back to Rudeus. Rudeus is now in his little jail cell with the magic circle, and he's doing the same MTV Cribs thing as he's talking about his living conditions, how good they are. Suddenly, Zenoba Shurine, the third prince, visits Rudeus. He confronts Rudeus on why he has a statue of Ruger in his possession. And Rudeus, dodges the question and kind of deflects, saying that, yeah, I bought it because I took a liking to it. Then Zenoba reveals the Roxy figure that Rudeus made that one time ago, and that his brother bought from the market. And we learn that due to, his brother's sexual harassment, we'll now call him Prince Pax, as that's what he's named, that Roxy left. And then Zenoba goes full fanatic mode on the intricacies and the details of the Roxy figure. And it's a long sequence, a very long sequence, minutes long, of him going over the figure, much like how a real fanatic would in real life. And I believe this is like a very good jab and stray shots to everyone that is like this. I'm sorry. Even Rudeus corrects him on a detail that Zenoba took away, and it gets even to more comical scenes. Crazy. Some scenes later, Ares, Aisha, and Ruger are being escorted by the palace guards because the soldiers want their help in rescuing their families. We learn that Prince Pax controls the soldiers by taking their families hostage. Terrible guy. But the soldiers never gave up hope though, hoping that one day they'll be free. The party agrees to help. Back to Rudeus and Zenoba. Rudeus will take him as an understudy if Zenoba deals with Pax. Back to Ares and the others. There's a commotion happening. It appears that this commotion is due to a blessed child. People born with extraordinary power at youth. And this one in particular tore off his brother's head at the age of 3. We are talking about the blessed child Zenoba, the decapitator prince. So Zenoba took Pax down to Rudeus, and literally everybody shows up. The palace soldiers, Ginger's there, Ares is there, Aisha's there, everybody's here to witness this scene go down. And Pax starts threatening the families of the soldiers that, hey, yo, rescue me, get me away from my brother who's literally about to tear my head off. But Ares counters like, hey, your families are being saved by Ruger, so you got nothing there, Prince. And the soldiers, they're like, you know what, Prince, you got yourself in this situation. You figure it out. And so the soldiers back down, and eventually Pax just gives up before he dies. And after that, it's just a very simple wrap up from Rudeus on how the soldiers got their families back. Thanks to Ruger, they know he's a supred. Everything's nice, hunky-dory. And at the end of it all, Rudeus gets his treasure, which is Roxy's panties, from Lilia. Also in the box, there is a charm from Sophie. Lilia is saying happy birthday to Rudeus and gives him a heartwarming hug. Very nice closing scene there. Aisha wants to go along with the Kennel Master instead of going with her big brother, like eventually down the line. But Rudeus turns her down, offering his headband and just giving a nice little heartwarming moment on treasuring objects and how they can help connect you to other people or remembering them. And as Aisha and Lilia leave, Aisha also reveals that she knew that Rudeus was her big brother and apologizes for calling him a pervert. But we don't know how long she knew that. And at the very, very end, now that Pax and Zenoba were exiled from the Shurine Kingdom because of their actions. And the episode ends. Weird episode, happy ending. That's all I can really say.
No, definitely. The ending is what made me think that God was just messing with Rudeus this whole time, right? Like, maybe he knew that Aisha would immediately recognize Rudeus and just wanted Rudeus to jump through the hoops so that, he would be, okay to ask him whatever he wanted to do the next time he shows up inside God's realm. Because there's no way a sequence this hilarious would not be funny enough for Man God to make happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't know at one point Aisha would know. Maybe the first time that Air slipped up when they were all in that scene. And then Aisha was like, oh, that's my big brother. Okay, let me not say anything until the end, I guess at that point. Or maybe sometime earlier. Who really knows? But I really got nothing else to comment on except for the fact that Zanoba, I'm sorry for everyone if you like figurines that detailed that much. They really shot y'all and had y'all dead to rights in this episode.
Thanks, Warren.
Listen. As much as I like, my figurines, I am not that detailed to the point to where I realize that, oh my god, this figurine has 3 arms because of the fact that you can replace them. And then the whole detail about the mole and everything, of how she can only cover up so much of her body and she can't cover up the mole, and all of that expression and trying to get read more into it. I'm like, bro, it's not that serious to me, but I know it's that much serious for all of you out there, and I'm sorry that the anime just shot y'all in the foot.
I will say I did rewatch that section because I feel like I learned a lot about models. I personally have no models. I don't even do figurines. I do want to get like a Warhammer set of dwarves, but that's for a different thing entirely, right? I didn't realize you could have like attachable segments and use that sort of like not sleight of hand, but like visual tricks to make it so like you have a whole different pose underneath the clothes than like something else, right? That was just really enlightening. I would really like to see like more quote unquote otaku stuff like that, right? Since the whole anime is like through the POV of an otaku. I feel like this is the first thing that I learned that was like not horny and actually like super interesting. You know what I mean?
Bro, you are so right. Wow, you are so right, man. God, you're so right. Those figurines are definitely out there. You just have to look for them or like see them. I forgot what that brand is called, but I know for a fact there's a line of figurines to where they are all modular in the fact that you can mix and match, or like you can have like the base of the body, but you can swap out the head, the body, the arms, each arms from all different kind of series. I forgot the line was called, but there's something like that. Not to that detail of the Roxy figurine, but something very simple to that. But definitely there are those things that like Roxy things are out there. I don't think they're made as much now. I have not seen them in like all the conventions that I've been to. Those are more or less, characters in different poses or like promotional things of them in different outfits. Best I can think of all the variations of Hatsune Miku and all of her iterations, whether it be Christmas, Halloween, holiday, Brazil, whatever they want to put her in, that's cool. Just one monopose kind of thing. Nothing adjustable.
No word. And now that we're talking about it, I was curious. I don't know if anybody in the comments can tell me. The Rudeus figure and the Roxy figure, were they like a big deal in real life when Rudeus made them? Like, was that also like a sort of marketing that happened towards like Mushoku Tensei fans?
Bro, that would be so cool.
No, it's great product placement if it was, right?
I swear to God, if all of you people who bought those Roxy figurines were also gushing over the fact, stop.
Yo, we're learning. This is the culture. This is so cool.
I mean, if they made a figurine that was the exact proportions into that style that Zanova did for, you know what? Props to them for making it. I commend them. But man, if y'all bought that and knowing that, you know what? To each their own. I respect it. I respect the hustle. I understand. Y'all got it.
Straight up, man. W fans, dude.
Nah, give me. You know what, man? You know what? With season 3 coming along, there's probably like another line of figurines coming up. I would want one of, dang, who would I want to figure out? Only Eris, to be honest. Eris and Lilia. That's it. Yeah.
I think season 3 Eris is going to be super tough. Or no, season 2 Eris is going to be super tough. I can feel it.
I hope so. You know what? I also get one of Nekopara, maybe. Yeah. Nekopara's cool.
Bro, you think Nekopara is going to have merch, bro?
No, it'd be cool. It'd be cool. You know, beggars can't be choosers. You know.
No, you're right. I think...
Ghislaine. I can't forget about Ghislaine. Dang.
Oh, good looks, good looks. I think top 5's got to be like Sylphie. Oh shit, Sylphie, Eris. Oh god, there's one more. Ghislaine for sure.
Rudeus,
I want to say Rudeus is gonna have one.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do a random curveball, and I'm gonna say Geese has a figure.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Geese that one. Shoot, man, I probably want like Gallus as well. Because Gallus was cool, even though he was
Gallus was tough.
Man, I just want the villains.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's really what it's coming down to. I want all the villains on my wall, bruh.
Yeah, give me Ghislaine, give me Gallus, give me Eris, Nekopara. That's 4. If I want a 5th one, dang, Zenith. You know, give me Zenith. I'll take Zenith.
Solid pick, man. I hope she's okay.
I hope so too. I mean, she used to be a former adventurer, so maybe she'll be alright on her own. I didn't bring this up.
Oh wait,
go ahead.
Oh wait, the beginning of the episode, we get like an idea of who's hanging out next to each other when they teleport, right? So we know that Paul went with Norn, Lilia went with Isha, Sylphie and Zenith. I don't know if they were fully separated or if they'll be in a pair, but I think if those two went off by themselves, they're gonna have a hard road.
Yeah, because it's kind of evident. It is evident that if you were holding on to somebody, both of you would end up in the same place. That's why Rudeus and Eris ended up in the same place. Paul and Norn, Lisa and Aisha ended up in the same place. We don't know about Zenith and Sylphie, if they kind of like dabbed up and then they both popped out. We'll see what happens. It's just up to the season 1 to tell us, or in second season does it happen. Because previously I was gonna make a prediction that yeah, it did make sense that if you were holding on to somebody that you would teleport. And then that was also at the time where we didn't realize that Lisa and Aisha would teleport themselves together. And I thought everybody else would be like gone off on their own. But thankfully, that's not the case. Ghislaine still out there somewhere. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, oh god, what was I gonna say? Oh, right. Also in the other review, I was going to point out the, I guess, flaw in Rudeus' plan into like still keeping up with trying to clear the Supred's name with Rudyard and the statue thing. And me thinking there's going to be at least one person, or like there's at least one group that's going to be like, yo, that is a Supred. They are evil. They are bad. Why are you with these people? And they're going to turn on them. But so far, they've been warming up to Rudyard in, I guess, in my disbelief. So I kind of got to give it up to Rudeus for doing it and continuing to do it. I don't know.
I think Rudyard's bald head is scaring so hard. I wonder if it really is just like an angle of, oh, they have green hair, so they must be a Spurred. And if they don't, well, I guess who cares, Brad?
I guess it is working out now that they, they see Rudyard is strong, or they see that Rudyard does a good thing. They're like, oh yeah, the Super 8. I was like, what? Super 8? Oh, because they're not that bad. Anyway, have a nice day. Sure.
I guess. Where they get... This makes me want to go back to the Demon Adventuring Guild where they were like, that guy's not a Spurred. And you think they're playing it up for laughs. Maybe that's just how it works here.
I mean, it made Nekopara be like, hey, yo, I'm on my disciplinary behavior, Roxy. Outside that Supred, he grabbed me, he choked me, he told me not to do anything. I was like, you know what, respect. Gang recognized gang, I'll tell you that.
Real.
Well, that, man, anything else from this episode and the other two that you want to hit before we close out here?
Not much, man. 18, amazing episode. 1920, pretty good palate cleansers, pretty good comedy, right? Had a pretty good time.
Yeah. I can't wait for the next episode, episode 21, that says turning point number 2. What? Because the first turning point was crazy. This one has to be crazier.
No, I'm scared already, yo.
But with that being said, y'all in the comments below, let us know what y'all think about anything that we said. Any predictions that if it's your first time watching so far. Keep it going. Let us know. We'll address your comments in the next video or comment with y'all down there. Hopefully I get better so I'm not so congested in my nose. But we'll see. We will see. Hashtag Richard never dies. I hope he does. Anyway.
Indeed, Richard never dies, bro.
Dang, that's man God attacking me for that.
Oh, no.
With that, hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.
See y'all later.